Hey guys, welcome back to another amazing show of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the Marketing Roundtable. We are missing one of our great co-hosts, Mr. Jake Wolf. He's making the trek from West Coast to East Coast, taking his family out to Florida. He's going to be neighbors with Nick. They're going to have barbecues and they're going to have keg parties. It's going to be a freaking awesome time, and I can't wait to come and hang out with him. But we have an amazing guest with us today, Mr. Todd Ashton. We're going to bring him in a minute. He's been a recurring guest here on the show. We're going to be talking about how to buy properties off market. Now, guys, and I'm really serious when I say this, your heads are going to explode when you hear what he's going to be dropping. So just take it slow and have a good time. But I have to welcome the evil bald ninja, G-Bubby.
What up, gang? Listen, I want to tell you one thing. Start the countdown.
Oh,
hey-o.
Shit.
See? Got all excited?
Let's go.
Nick, why didn't you remind me, dude? I mean, this is your role. I mean, you have to tell me to do this shit. Here we go. Oh, shit. Sorry.
Now we're back.
Jesus.
I always do that.
I want to say one thing. Jake is going to Florida to stay there. Nick lives in Florida. I was in Florida last week, and I was smart enough to leave.
What?
Whoa.
Whoa. Blasphemy.
What was that all about?
Nothing. I just like breaking Nick's balls. That's all.
He loves Florida. That's why. How many times have you been to Florida in the past 2 months, 3 months?
Jeez. Twice in the last 6 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
See?
So, Nick, talk about Florida a little bit here. I want to talk about real quick, and we're going to get over to Todd and get to the meat of the conversation. But you have lost, what, like 200 plus pounds at this point, the ever shrinking man?
176.
176.
That's a whole person.
Monday will be 1 year since I started. I'm shooting for 180 total. I don't know if I'll get there. I'm 4 pounds. So we'll see.
How tall are you, Nick? How tall are you?
6 foot.
So I'm 5'11" and a half if I stand up straight. So 5'10" really, but so I want to get down to 180 also. I would be the range.
Well, no. 180 pounds of weight loss. I weighed 470 last year.
Yeah.
What do you want to get down to though? What's your goal?
270 is my initial goal, but I'll probably get down to 250.
Love it.
6 foot 250. I got you, man. You need to be in the UFC.
Yeah, I might be. I used to box. I used to scrap a little bit.
Yeah, you got the frame for it. That's amazing. That's cool.
Todd, Nick is doing incredible things, and I want to kind of jump into kind of what we're going to be talking about today. I want to talk about, just how to buy properties off market, and I think Nick and Gene and I would love us to just kind of be the background on this conversation. Like I said, guys, in the intro, the conversation you're going to hear right now is going to hurt your brain, and that's a good thing. So, Todd, I want you to just kind of break it down for us. We got an hour here. Let's go deep. Let's talk about buying off properties off market. How are you buying tax lien properties for cents on the dollar and allowing people to get into the American dream of buying a home? So the stage is yours, my friend. Take it away.
I appreciate it, man. I don't even actually know where to start because I get so wound up on this. I got on my soapbox, and like Gene says, I just go off. And he was rolling 4 last time. But I get so excited because the opportunities that are out there. Again, I guess where I need to start is at the beginning. My whole philosophy as a coach, as an investor, I've worked for a number of so-called, what would you call, gurus in the business. Hey, can you put you guys all smiling face up there? Because if I just see mine, I'm like, I can't relate, man. I can't. I got to see you guys.
I was already calling him for a deal. That's what it's.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. So, where to start? I guess the best thing to say is I was just talking when Nick said he's in Tampa and those counties in the inverted C around Tampa are like the epicenter for what's going on. That in Alabama, there's a lot of excess inventory. and Nick, you've probably seen it. There's a lot of properties that are actually vacant that are sitting there, and there's ways to do a little bit of what you'd call skip tracing or background checks. There's a way to get into some databases that I teach to get all the information. It's all about intel. I used to be an Army intelligence officer. I speak Arabic. I've been all over the Middle East. I was telling Greg, I'm actually thinking of going. I got an invitation to go back and stay for extended time in Algeria at a villa. And I'm like, I can do this. I can do this from the Mediterranean. All I need is a laptop and a phone and access to the internet. I can
Wait
do
a
this
second.
anywhere.
So are you sending email to people as a Mediterranean person wanting to pay cash for their house? I don't know how that's going to go over very well.
An Algerian prince, you mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah, actually it's kind of cool because the guy is, I'll go into that later, but he contacted me a couple of weeks ago, this Algerian prince. His dad is one of the top 3 wealthiest men in Algeria in petrochemicals. 2 years ago, when I went over with the State Department, it's called the U.S. Arab Chamber of Commerce, USAC. And anyway, went over there and spent a couple of weeks in Algeria on business, thinking I was going to go over and speak my Arabic and eat kebab. And I ended up eating croissants and fish and speaking French. It was a crazy ride. It wasn't what I expected, but I had a good time. So I got contacted by this Algerian prince literally a couple of weeks ago, and I thought it was a scam. I almost hung up on him, but he was speaking halting English and had a thick accent. But he mentioned that he was in California on vacation, and he'd come over because his dad was really impressed with me when I was over in Algeria and met him. And so apparently, and then he's invited me to come over to his brother's wedding in August. And I mentioned about, well, what if I was able to stay there a few months out of the year because it's cold here in Utah. And he said, man, we got lots of houses. Just come stay in one of our villas. So I was like, hook me up. So dude, I can keep the same email. I can keep the same number. It's just I can get on WhatsApp and have a good time. So they'll think I'm in Florida. I can put my numbers in Florida. I'll be in Tampa for all they know.
So let me ask you. Go ahead, Gene. Sorry.
Todd's officially the only dude that can reply to that email because it's legit, right? Like, yeah. They come in my email inbox, and I'm like, this is hilarious. Where it's him, he's like, this is my buddy over there. Yeah. He actually knows them.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a whole other story, but let me get into it. There's a lot of inventory, guys, that's just out there that as I was talking to Greg, it's almost like I could create my own MLS. There's unlimited inventory out there, and that's not an overstatement. There is so many people that are behind in their taxes because of COVID. COVID has created this unprecedented opportunity. It's really a generational opportunity. It's once in a lifetime. If you think back what happened when the banks failed, I was kind of riding that wave with some investors. Jake was involved at that time with me, and my company blew up to it was a $32 million company, but it was a dead engine. We had like 66 plus homes in Utah that were over $250,000 that we bought from the bank, and then we were doing a sandwich lease. We were mining all the equity out of them and buying more homes. And we actually went down to Florida on a trip. And we were on the other side from Tampa, but we were in southern Florida, and they're literally, it looked like a movie set. There's all these homes that had been overbuilt that no one was living in. And there was like one family in the whole community. You drive in and there'd be like one family and no cars. And it looked like after the apocalypse or something. But these were brand new homes. So what's happened is because of that, because of the overbuild and because of COVID, and you got all these people that are behind on their taxes, it's created this snowball effect where there are literally unlimited opportunities of these out there. And I can go into the whole process of what I do, but basically, if you think of the 4 things I do, the hardest thing to do is find opportunities. Everyone wants to know, where do you get them? I have them in droves. I have access to databases. I have access to the secondary market, which is large whales that they basically have bought millions of dollars worth of property in Nix County and around the surrounding counties, and they peel off like 360 homes a month that I just have a ball with. I just plow through them and have a ball with.
The secondary market is something that nobody really ever talks about. And it's something a lot of people don't really know about. And that's where your mortgages get sold. So you go to Wells Fargo, B of A, or anywhere else, and then they get put in a bundle and they get resold
large
out.
tranches, $5 and $10 million tranches,
huge chunks of them. So that's really interesting information. Gene, I know you were kind of reaching out. You want to start a conversation about something, so I'm going to let you dig in here right now because I know you have a ton of questions for Todd.
Yeah, well, I think I can lead Todd down a path that will help really explain sort of what he does if we break it down. So, Todd, you and I have done a couple of these together, and I'm digging back probably 2 years ago. As I say this, you'll probably remember the example in the conversation, but what I remember about it is that when I laid it out there, I think that's where I really started to understand what it is that you do for a living. So I'm going to go back and relive this as if this just happened, but about 2 years back, I got a call from one of my real estate buddies that was like, hey, we have this property that's getting ready to be sold in this county for foreclosure, right? And if you remember at the time when I gave you the numbers, that they purchased the house for $1.3 million in cash, and they went 2 years without paying taxes. So they came in and foreclosed. The county came in and foreclosed, and they were going to sell it on their county website. And if you remember, I laughed because we looked at what they owed. They purchased the house for $1.3 million. There were no liens on it. I remember you saying to me, oh my God, that's like a dream come true. Now, I know that's not the example typically. That's probably more the exception than the rule.
Yeah.
But how would you steer me in the right direction with something like that?
Okay. First of all, I'm trying to turn my phone off or down. I just had a gentleman call me from Florida. He's in that situation. He has a home. He's an Arab. He bought a home through his buddies. His buddies lending money to get in the home. They gave him a loan on it. They own it. Set him up in the home. He hasn't paid because of COVID. He hasn't paid the mortgage and or the taxes. He got behind on the taxes for 3 years now. So he's in the $800,000 home. Has this mortgage on it, and he has the taxes on it. And he's like, and he was trying to see if he could get it, the back taxes paid off, if I could help him. And I said, and the problem is, it's the numbers. If you have a bank that has that kind of interest in it, and there's that kind of upside, if there's hundreds of thousands of dollars of upside that the bank can protect with their mortgage, they're probably going to go in and pay those taxes. They have the right to pay those taxes. I ran into an auction years ago in the Panhandle. I had a student there, just my bird dog out there. He was in the middle of nowhere in the Panhandle, northwest Florida. A home had been in probate, and I think the owners had either died in a plane crash or maybe a car crash. But regardless, there were no heirs. This home had been in probate for like 2 years, and it looked like a museum. All the furniture was still there. It was in perfect working condition. It was nice. Well, it was worth $650,000 sitting on the off market, and it had Wells Fargo had about a maybe $60,000, let's say $50,000 mortgage on it, and there was $10,000 in back taxes. I sent a kid out there. He said, "Well, I'm here, but nobody's here." And I said, "Well, that's a good thing. If you're the only one there, then we have no competition." So he said, "Well, what do I do?" And he says, "Well, when the guy comes out, he'll raise his gavel and he'll and you raise your hand and he'll say once, twice sold to the guy that's holding his hand up. And then you tell me and I'll pay the back taxes and I'll get the deed and we're good to go." Well, he did that. He says, "Can anything go wrong?" And I said, "Well, yeah, the only thing that could go wrong is if the bank representative shows up. If he shows up in the next 20 minutes, we're screwed." So like 5 minutes later, he called me back. And right when he called, he didn't have to say anything. Just the fact that he was calling back 5 minutes later, I was like, oh shit. And he says, "Yeah, the bank representative just walked in." I said, "You didn't have to tell me." He said, "Yeah, he came in. Wells Fargo rep came in." And I said, "Well, that's it. We're done." Because the bank does have the right to redeem. Anybody, either the person who's in first position or normally the bank, they have the right to do that. But tax deeds supersede banks. If you go the whole full Monty, the county's going to get their money before the banks get their money, if that makes sense. Yep. So the bank, and the only way they can come in as protected is that they pay that off. Well, they do that in the properties that have higher equity in them. So our game is to find properties that are in lower economic, maybe depressed areas That's why Alabama is really Birmingham, Alabama is a great example.
We call those affordable neighborhoods.
Affordable. That's whatever the term is. I want to be politically correct, but affordable neighborhoods. Florida's got what they do is it's probably you'd have to double it, probably about $130,000 to $200,000, but it's kind of the same scale. In Alabama, they owe $3,000 to $5,000, and in Florida, they might owe $3,000 to $9,000. It's less than 10K, usually about $3K. For 1 year, it's about $3K. So we go in and we look for abandoned properties, so we don't have to eject anybody. If we have lawyers, so if we have to do an ejectment, we can do that. If we have to quiet the title, we can do that. If we have to do notifications, we can do that. There's a whole gamut of things you can do, but it's all about control. If you own that property, if you own the right to sell, just like a wholesaler has a right to sell, or even a realtor. A realtor, when they get a contract, they have a right to sell for a period of time. As long as you have control of that and have the right to sell, you can mark it up and sell it to the next highest bidder. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just doing a paper game. So I'm finding properties, I'm vetting them, I evaluate them, make sure there's money in them. This works in my model, verify everything with eyes on the ground, and then pull the trigger. That's all I do. That's 4 things. I don't teach. My predecessors, USTLA, they teach a 14-step process. I was their top coach for 3 years. 14 steps to get a tax lien deed. After about the 4th step, you get confused and go, what the fuck? Excuse my language. I mean, it's not worth it. But my 4 steps are just find them, vet them, evaluate them, verify you know everything, and pull the trigger. It's that easy. So that's all I'm doing. I'm finding these unlimited opportunities. They're literally sitting in plain sight. Nick can verify that. I have access to big wells that have on the secondary market. They can just peel them off, and they've already paid for them. This is where it gets fun. Okay, this is the what if scenario, Greg. What if you could do this without any money out of pocket? What if you could just engineer a deal and go through the databases I have access to? They're already paid for. They're just sitting there in plain sight. You tee them up and market them. You go out to all the places the trade. What do you call them? Trade platforms.
They'd be social media and stuff like that. But I want to
go to social media and just blast it out there and say, "Hey, there's a property here you can have for $30,000 cash."
No tricks, no scams. It's a legit deal.
It's a legit deal. And they call up and they say at the title company, they say, "What's the catch?" The catch is the title company just spends 15, 20 minutes explaining to them what a tax lien is and what they have to do with it to get it over the bow. Because if they get a property that's been abandoned for 3 years, there's a high likelihood no one even is going to redeem it, even if they have the right to. 99%.
Why not? Why not?
Because 99% of the people don't even realize out there that they have the right to redeem.
Explain that a little bit. Kind of walk
They
walk
lose
our,
their
walk our
home.
audience
They
down
lose
the
their
path.
home to back taxes through the county. It gets
Gotcha.
sold off. They go somewhere else and start renting or start a life somewhere else. They've left that property. They're not interested in getting back in that property.
So you and I talked off air about this, but there's and again, this is how much you want to explain this to everybody, but because I've talked to you multiple times. My head always hurts when I do this. And there's buildup of additional costs. So let's say they have $5,000 in back taxes or $3,000, like on the average, like you said, right?
Well, if they're in Florida, then they get 18%. The county adds on 18% every year. And people don't realize that 18% on 5,000 or 10,000 adds up.
It grows fast.
So it adds up real quick. And I had a student one time call me afterwards, and she was this was years ago. She was bawling. She's like, "This isn't going to work. What's going on here? You lied to me." And I'm, "What are you talking about?" She says, "I called the county, and they said that they would never. The lady said they would never ever pay 18% on a lien." And I said, "Oh, really? Let's get back on a call." So we called the county, got the same lady on the line. And I said the same thing, and she says, "Oh, sir, the county, we would never pay 18% on a lien, on an old lien." And I said, "Do you have access to the web?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Can you go to your website?" She said, "Yes." I took her right to the liens and deeds, and it said right there in bold letters, "We pay 18% to investors, blah, 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 annually." And there was dead silence on the phone. She's like, "I had no idea we even did that." And she works for the county. So it's all about knowledge. Knowledge is power. So anyway, there's back. So imagine if they didn't pay 3 years of back taxes. $10,000 is a lot to come up with for anybody. Even in Alabama, if it's 5,000 or if it's 10,000 in Florida, it's a lot of money to come up with. And then if you add on 6 to 10, 18% annually that they got to come up with, that puts a wrench in it. Then if 99% of them don't even know they have the right to redeem, they're out of their house, they don't even know that that's possible. So you're only working with 1% that might want it back and know the law and have a lawyer. And then you put, it's called raise the right of redemption. This is the key. So you get a house in Alabama, you find a lien, you get a lien. Remember, that's the control. You got the lien, and now you own it outright for $3,000 to $5,000. And then they have to, if they want to pay it back, they got to pay back 6% maybe in Alabama, 8%. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but it's under 10%, more than 5%, I think. But they've got to pay that back. And then when you get in, you can actually raise the right of redemption. Someone who buys that house for cash, say for $15,000 or $20,000. Mind you, I only bought it for $3,000. But if I mark it up $15,000, $20,000 and they buy it for $18,000, $23,000, it's still for them, because homes in that area are going for upwards of $60,000, $70,000 when they're fixed up. So it's really a good deal for them. They come in, they get it, and now they what they do to make sure that nobody can come back, if they did come back, which they never do, but if they did come back, they put in $10,000 to $15,000 in upgrades. They raise the right of raise the redemption. So by putting in the value of $10,000 or $15,000, now it's worth $20,000 or $30,000 more than when you bought it, or than it was when what's the after fix up value. You've raised that price now. Now they got to come back and pay back taxes. They got to pay the interest. They got to pay lawyer fees, and they got to pay the amount that you just raised it for the value. There's no way they're going to go somewhere else. Why would they pay $40,000, $50,000 to get back a property that they lost 3 years ago that's in disrepair? Why would they do that? They'll go elsewhere. But there's lots of people like your buddy Jake who's going to Florida.
Well, now we know why he's going to Florida.
Yeah. But if I can find him a property in Florida in your area, your backyard, I can find. He wants 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. I'm going to blow his away, because there's properties sitting in your county that are worth $500,000, $800,000 right now. All right, we can turn the show off, Todd. You're giving away too much information. There's already enough people moving to Florida. Me and you need to connect. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy, because if you look at the statistics, Nick, I'm glad the light bulbs are going on, because if you look at the statistics, everybody's going to your neck of the woods. Not just Florida; they're all going to Tampa. Yeah. It's like Tampa is they're what they say? They're forecast to increase like. I think it was
1,000 people a day. It used to be 400 to 500 people a day. 18 months ago. It's off the rails.
Everybody's going to your neck of the woods, and your neck of the. I have a buddy down there right now on the ground. He says, "This is crazy. The opportunities down here are endless. They're unbelievably endless." And so the idea is, I'll get Jake to get his home down there. He just sold his home, so I'm sure he's okay if I just say, "Hey, are you okay if you take this lien for $50,000 cash?" I've got a guy in Alabama who can close title in all 50 states electronically. Just put your money in escrow. I'll put the lien in there, and then he'll say, "What's the catch?" Like, as soon as you get the lien, go dump another $10,000, $20,000 and fix it up. Go put no doors on it. Go put new carpet on it. Go paint the inside. Go put a tub in it. Go fix the countertop, the kitchen. And plush that thing out with the rest of the money you have. No one's ever going to be able to come back and take that, no matter what. The bank, nobody cares. No one's going to want it back. It's too much to redeem.
So we have the opportunity, right? Like Todd, what you're talking about. There's the will and there's the opportunity.
Nick and Gene, did the light bulbs come on? Nick, did the light bulbs come on, buddy?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
So hold on a second. Let me ask this question to Nick and to Gene. So we have the game plan laid out. We know what the opportunity is. How would you get the word out to the local community? Nick, let's go with you, since you're boots on ground in Florida, and then Gene, love to hear your thoughts on this. I mean, how are you gonna throw a floodlight on this opportunity for all the buyers who may be a little bit down and out on cash bait, given the fact that they were in COVID, maybe they get kicked out of their apartment or condo or something like that. And now they want to buy something. They have a couple of dollars saved up, but they can't afford a full price opportunity. How would you do this?
Well, I mean, come on. So there's two different scenarios here, right? There's a wholesale scenario where you're mixing it up with the people in your neck of the woods as far as the groups you're in, the associations you're in, just off-market deals, right? People looking for wholesale deals. And then I'm always talking about your unique selling proposition as a realtor. What do you do different from everybody else? You have a pipeline of these things when in this market right now, people are dying for houses, are overpaying, they're waiving appraisals, they can't find the house that they're looking for. And you have a unique opportunity to say, well, I got this pipeline of these tax liens that you might want to get in on. You think the phone might ring with that type of marketing campaign.
The funny thing is I appreciate your insight, because you guys, because of where you're at, you're coming at it a completely different way. My angle is, I want to take that guy that just lost their job and has been sitting on their hand in COVID and isn't making any money, and they can do what I do. I can teach what I do, and they can flip these things like hotcakes, like pancakes, and make $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 just doing this off market in a month, every month consistently.
Sure. Yeah.
From their couch. I can do that. If I can do this in Algeria, they can do this from anywhere. And so that's what I try to do. And then if you think about it, my model for everyone has a model for, you talk to all the big people out there, always like, oh yeah, this is my Robert Kiyosaki. This is my model for wealth. My model for true wealth is when your passive income exceeds on a monthly basis consistently your active outgo. So whatever your bills are, whatever your nut to crack is, if your passive income, whether you get out of bed or not, is coming through the door and it's covering, like Greg said, all the kiddie food and overhead and other things that Greg's talks about, if that's all paid for, you can do whatever the freak you want. You can flip all day. You can help other people get into houses, whatever you can do. This is wide open. So the guy that I'm talking to that's in Alabama, ground zero, he doesn't even care to go to Florida because he's got 256 rentals in Birmingham that are bringing him in $800 a month. I'm sorry, on Section 8. So these Section 8 renters do not want to lose their vouchers. They're very good renters. They treat it like their home. He's got 256 of them. So you do the math. He's bringing in over $150,000 a month passive income.
Yeah.
And if everyone goes, well, gosh, that's a lot of stuff. He got started with no money. He got started with absolutely no money because he saw the opportunity. He started flipping paper and flip, hold. And all you have to do to get out of the rat race is get 20 of these properties. You don't need 256, get 20. Because if you do the math, that's kicking off $14,000 plus a month passive income. That covers most everybody's nut unless you're living large. You know what I mean? And then you don't even have to get out of bed. You've got that money coming in, what I call mailbox money. You've got 20 properties that you did a flip, hold. In the process, you probably flipped and made $300,000, $400,000 just doing $10,000 markups on everything that was there. And it's endless. The opportunities are freaking endless. And that's in one county in one state. Think about doing it in 5 or 6 counties in your neck of the woods.
So and this is something that you and I talked about off air, is the fact that back in 2008, what I saw a couple of people do, they got $1 billion, literally with a B, venture capital money, and they went out and they bought 50 homes a month. I mean, you want to talk about a lot of contracts going out, and they did the exact same model. They flipped 2, sold 1, flipped 2, sold 1. Sorry, held 2, sold 1, held 2, sold 1.
No, you're wrong.
It was just amazing.
Didn't they flip 2 and hold 1? Is that, or did they do it backward?
Reverse.
It doesn't matter however you do it, as long as you're generating money and holding them.
So Brian has a question for us. Is where do I wire the money? To kind of do this program. So
I'll put my Wells Fargo.
So there's some things I'm not going to give out on the air. I mean, I do have a program, and it is on lockdown. I was doing $30,000 in engagement before COVID. That's $10,000 less than USTLA, U.S. Taxing Association, would do, and they'll take your money, and you'll never see it again, and you'll 95% fill rate through their program. I have a 95% success rate, and I was charging $30,000 in engagement before COVID. The reason my reason is because they do it for a year engagement. They give them a year support. I give you lifetime, and I help you scale. If you want to scale your business, I have guys that have created funds over in Switzerland, and they actually do this for 30 other people. So I'll scale your business. It's very scalable. But so anyway, what was my point? What was my point? What was your question? I lost my train of thought. This is where I get so excited.
He was asking about escrow money.
So if to engage me now, it's $15K. I'll just throw it out there. It's $15K, but you can make that back in one flip, and then you can flip. I have a guy in Birmingham. He started flipping them, and he flipped 30 properties his first year, made $300,000, $10,000 markup on each one, doing exactly what I'm telling you guys. And he's he couldn't even hold down a regular job. So this is very real. It's very doable. It's very accessible. But I'm not going to give out my like the guy that I work with that does escrow. I'm not going to give that out on air. I mean, if you really want to do this, come to me and talk, and I'll
Todd, just so you know, Brian is my business partner. He and I will be calling you together. Yeah,
it's funny because I was talking to a marketing guy that's marketing my stuff now, and he started to wrap his mind around what I'm doing, and he's like, why am I not doing this? And I said, I don't know. Why are you not doing this? He's like, okay, we'll be talking. So, I mean, when people start to wrap their mind like Nick did, I saw the light bulbs go off. I love it when I train people and the light bulbs go off. Now wrap your mind around this, guys. This is where it gets deeper. This is where Greg's brain starts to hurt. So I already have another database of off-market properties that Wells already are sitting on, and they're getting their percentage, their blended rate of 14% annually. And they're very happy just throwing their millions of dollars into getting these liens and getting their 14%. They're very happy with that. Now I've come in and they give me carte blanche to just go in and cherry pick whatever I want. It's already paid for. I just go cherry pick what I want. I put it up on the boards and market it in those areas for 10, 15, 20, 30,000, 40,000, $50,000 markup, whatever, depending on how much the home is worth and what makes sense. Most people don't have the reason there's a point of diminishing returns. Most people don't have just $50,000 unless they just sold their house and they're from California. They don't have $50,000 they can pull out of their couch for a home. But like Jake, he just sold his house. He's going to Florida. He's a perfect guy. So I'll tee him up a property like this. He'll put 50,000 gladly into it. Put another 10, 20 into it when he gets there from his money he sold his house with. He's going to be living large, living in a beautiful home, and doing what I just told you. So it's very real. It's very doable. I hope you guys jump on board. I hope you call me afterwards. I hope this generates a lot of other people. The light bulbs go off because as I was talking to my guy in Birmingham that has the 256 properties, and he just flipped 10 of these at $10,000 a piece. He just flipped them. He flipped 6 and he had 4 more on the bubble. And he says, I'm going to flip 10 before the month's out. So he'll have $100,000 plus month flipping. He's already making $150,000 a month income. So he's got this thing dialed down, and he doesn't. I said, what about if I bring all these people on, is it going to cause this glut? And he's like, are you kidding me? That's like, there's 5,000 marbles on the floor. You come in and grab 50. I've got 50. How many are left over? I'm like, you got a point. And that's in one county. So
I guess the question is on this one. A lot of us are probably listening to this as licensed real estate agents. Let me rephrase that question. Have you found there to be a barrier with brokerages not allowing licensed agents to do this model?
No, I have licensed agents right now that are like, they hear this, they heard that podcast we did before. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you guys, he's a licensed agent. He heard this last time. So he was in Florida and he was down sitting at the pool, and he saw them coming and putting all these lien notices on the door. And by law in Florida, if they're on there, you can't take them off. These old lien notices will stay up for years. I mean, they're all over posted. So he saw put them on there, and he got interested. All these condos and townhouses for $200,000. And he's like, what's going on? He says, they're not paying their back taxes because of COVID. They haven't even been here for the last 2 years, and they haven't paid for the last 3 years. And he's like, how do I get a hold of those? And he goes, you can't, don't do it. It's tax liens. It's really hard. It's really convoluted. There's redemption periods. You got to wait. It's not worth it. You got to go through the courts. It's just not worth it. So a lot of expense. He just laid it on thick. So the guy got really disheartened. He's a really sharp guy in Michigan. He's a broker. He was going home and he heard our last podcast we did 6 months ago or whatever it was last year. Mm-hmm. He heard the podcast and he lit up because I ticked off all the boxes. And when he called me, he's like, I got to get in. I got to get in. Where do I send the money? And I was like, whoa, slow the flow. I didn't even know you. I'd like to get, what's your name? And he was so excited, like Nick. He's like, I don't care. Let's just do this. I understand that what you're doing. I want in. So we got to know each other. I sent him my stuff. He's actually the guy that I partnered with. He's my eyes on the ground. He's the one. So I'm just going to get real with you. He just sent me this text this morning. Let me just share this with you. This is my point of view. And if it turns out people and they think I'm a BSer, I'm okay with that. Go ahead. If it resonates with them and they're like, how do I get on this gravy train? I said to him, what do you think is realistic as far as generating revenue? This is my question to him. I just sent out this morning. He's in Florida right now. Generating revenue on a consistent monthly basis right out of the chutes based on what you're seeing. Remember, we need to factor in a time element if we're going to buy them from the counties. Understand, I already have a whole database of these already bought from these wells that are already sitting there that I can scavenge and poach and cherry pick. But if we're buying them, this is what he said. He said $240K a month split between the two of us, $120K a month. Now I'm curious to see how fast we can sell these, because if it's fairly quick, then a lot more. Okay, I'm down. Let's do that. It's quick. It's a quick process. I have a student right now. She got a lien from Birmingham. She's in the process of getting it. She went and wired in $850 for the lien. It's worth $69,000. As soon as she gets it, she's going to mark it up $10,000, $15,000 of best offer and throw it out on the boards. And probably in the next 6 weeks after she gets the lien, you got to get the lien. But after she has that lien, she'll be in the driver's seat. She'll throw up on the boards. There's a market for it. She'll flip it and make $10,000, $15,000.
So you had mentioned, I got one question. It's percolating, right? You mentioned the right of redemption for the owner.
Yeah.
So is there is the negative to flipping these as a wholesaler the fact that there is the chance that someone can come back and claim the property? So is it not as valuable as a traditional wholesale paper flip?
Yes and no. If you know what the hell you're doing, this is very, very safe. This is like, I equate this to? This is like going to Vegas and putting all your money on black and you lose and they push all the money back to you and say, try again. And then you do it again. And if you lose, you get all your money back and they say, try again. And then you hit the jackpot and you got more money and then you just do it. I'll go all in and try again. That's all you do. The only downside to this is that if things unravel, which they never have, like I said, if you do what I do, if they did, the person that actually bought it, they're the ones you educate, like Jake, he would be out the money. That's the problem. I wouldn't. I did a quick claim. It wouldn't touch me, but the person that did it might be in the soup if they came back and actually did try to redeem it from them.
Yeah, I guess that's my question. So what's the redemption?
So if you lose your property,
but you've been doing this for 20 years and you've never had a redemption. So basically,
no, and even the guy I told you that does 256, he's never had it either. And when I met him, we were vibing because he does and teaches exactly what I tell everybody. He's social proof. He's living the dream. And I was like, oh my God, I thought I was the only one that figured this out.
So that being said, now we know you haven't had one, but what is it? Is it 2 years, 5 years? Like how long?
It depends. It depends on the county. That's why I have a big book that tells you, you read it. It tells you if you go in all the counties, whether it's a deed state or a lien state, or like Florida, it's both liens and deeds. And then it just tells you what the redemption periods are. And it's usually 2 to 3 years after the sale of the property, of the lien or deed. Oh, the deed. Yeah. Of the deed. So they have 2 to 3 years. Let's just say 3 years. But again, for example, Nick, if I go to you and I ask you, hey, I paid all your back taxes, Nick. I see you're in the soup. What do you plan to do with that? And then you say, you know what? I'm out. in fact, I abandoned that property because I went out to another property. I'm totally done with that thing. I'm out of there. I haven't paid for 3 years. I said, yeah, but you know what? You're still owe the back taxes, the county. They're still just hanging over your head. And he's like, yeah, that keeps me up all night. Well, what if I take care of it? What if I just do it? What if I just pay your back taxes and take care of that hairball for you? Would you please? That'd be nice. Okay, just go back down to my title company and let's do it's cash for keys. You understand the drill. I'll give you $600 or $1,000, $2,000. I was actually doing in Alabama $2,000 to $3,000 to get them to give me the deed to the property and get them on their way. The guy I'm telling you about this actually ground zero, he does it for $600 to $1,000. He understands. I guess
what I'm confused though is the redemption. Can the redemption happen after the property's changed hands, or no?
The owner has the right, even if it's changed hands, to go back and get that property if they pay the back taxes, if they pay the 18%, if they pay the lawyer fees, and if they pay the $30,000 that they put into it to make it.
That's what you're saying, like going and betting on black. It doesn't matter. Even if you lose, on the off chance you lose, that's a 50-50 scenario, red and black. But your scenario, you have all this time invested, you pay the back taxes, the owner reaps up and says, hey, I want it back. I'm going to pay $100,000. Give me it back. You still get the money back.
Yeah. Actually, you get back they actually know in that sense, and I'm not a lawyer, but in that sense, they only have to pay back their what they originally owed. So probably $10,000, whatever they owed for the county. So that's another, whatever that 18% on that, do the math. Then the lawyer that you got involved, that could be kind of pricey. And then the $30,000 that you raised the value of the property, they got to pay all that back to get their property.
But that's based on what? An appraisal?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you raise the price,
if it costs you, so you know how much it costs for a door.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you get the appraised value versus the money you actually put into it. So you could make money.
So you put in $5,000-$10,000, but you raised it $20,000-$30,000. They got to pay that back. Nick, who in their right mind?
You mentioned, like, I understand that makes sense, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, man. I'm sorry. Just as
it's not. You're not.
My light bulb went off, as you said. You saw it in my eyes, right? So I can see how this would make sense in a average price point. In more of a luxury price point, say $600, $800, maybe $1 million. Somebody has back taxes. It's a secondary property, but they might have the means once they realize that you've fixed up their property. It's now worth $800 when it was abandoned.
Oh yeah. No. You're right. You're absolutely right. You've overthought this though. You're absolutely right. I don't do this in those areas. I only back up. I only do this in properties that have been abandoned for 3 years.
So that's the bread and butter. That's the sweet spot.
Yeah. And they're in those economically depressed. What Greg call them?
Affordable
neighborhoods that. Okay, so for example, let's just
primary residences too, I imagine.
Yeah, right? And primary residences. They've been abandoned for 3 years.
Yeah.
So you have that hill to climb now. If I call you, Nick, and you're in that situation, and I say, hey, for $2,000, $3,000, I'll get you out of it. I'll pay everything. Let me take care of it. I'll give you $3,000. Guess what? They don't take that money and pay their child support. They take that money and go put new rims on their Escalade. That's just the way they deal.
Sure.
I'm being real. So $3,000 to them is a lot of money. And being able to take that $10,000 or $5,000 or $6,000 away from over their head and give them $2,000 to go down the road, they'll gladly give me that property. And once
they're going to the casino,
once they give me that property, they don't have the right to redeem.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So you're right. You overthought it. I don't do this normally in properties that are at that. That's why I told that one gentleman I said at the beginning that was the Arab. I can't help him. In an $800,000 home, someone's going to come after that. Somebody wants that equity, and in the ones I deal in, the banks call it a caustic asset. They don't want it. They've been paid 10 times over on rents or mortgage or compounded interest or if it was federally insured, they don't care if they lose it. You know what I'm saying? These smaller ones. The bank has no interest in redeeming these unless it's like that one I told you that was 650,000.
There's obviously way more than we can obviously answer in this show. We're coming up on our bingo on this show.
Hopefully I've opened some guys to think like Nick and Gene.
No, you have.
Really like thinking about it, because it's the guys. The opportunities are endless. They're right here. It's crazy. It's a feeding frenzy. And if you know what you're doing, you can do it from your laptop and a phone.
Well, so here's the thing. There's a lot of agents that listen to this show that are stuck because of the lack of inventory in their regular business. And this could be an exceptional side hustle that takes into maybe a full-time deal, right? So let me supplement, because there's only 2 listings available in my market right now to sell as a retail agent, and I need something else going on. I get those phone calls. People want to get involved with marketing. Nick, how do you do marketing? I need something to supplement. And there's pros and cons to everybody saying, like, if you have a secondary plan, then you're not doing the first one right and all those things. But like, there's a lot of agents listening to this that are probably going to call you, Todd, and I think they should.
That
are looking for other options to be in real estate.
So just so you know, I just had some agents. They actually came to me through Jake. They knew Jake, and they're in the Bay Area. Exactly the scenario we're talking about. They heard this, they lit up. They went, "Oh my God, this guy's not talking bullshit. He understands the game. He's got a good game. It's airtight. It makes sense." I said, "These are from your area. No, the Bay Area. I'm sorry, Gene and McDaniel. They live in your neck of the woods. Hey Todd, we found a property on blank. I'm not going to put that out there. That we think looks pretty good. It appears to be vacant. It's a tax certificate for $3,900. We ran it through your spreadsheet, and it looks like it could sell for like $26K to $45K. So I think we should send someone to take pictures out for us next. Do you have a contact we can reach out to?" And of course, I have all the contacts. I have a guy that'll go out and take pictures all you want for $20 a house. So yeah, so I've got this thing on lockdown. They're like, "Okay, next. And that's how I do it. I just if you come on board, I don't give you all this backstory and 10 years of this. I just say, "Okay, here's where you're at. This is what you do now." So people that are listening to me, if they are realtors, they understand wholesaling. Like, who's the lady that I absolutely love down in LA that's the wholesaler?
You're talking about in LA?
I think she's in LA, Southern California, the wholesaler. You introduced me to her.
Oh, Ashley Chapman.
Ashley. Oh my God, she is freaking amazing. I told her if I was younger, better looking, and in her neck of the woods, I would be looking her up. She is an amazing woman on all respects. I love that girl, but she's lighting it up. She's a wholesaler and she's lighting it up. And the thing is, if she did if she added what I do to it with the inventory I have access to, instead of making whatever the $1 million plus she's probably going to make this year in wholesaling, she could probably double that just off of what she's doing, because she's doing everything I'm doing. I just have access to different inventory.
And that's why, guys, I want you to reach out to Todd. We're gonna close up on that real quickly. Reach out to Todd. Get a part of his program. Talk with him. See if this is a fit for you. Number one, most important thing, Nick, where can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, check me out on getamplifiedmarketing.com if you want to book an appointment for social media advertising. If you want to join my group, we just opened it back up. Real Estate is a Joke. Search for Real Estate is a Joke. It's a cool community. Greg and Gene are both admins. We got some fun interviews and stuff planned in there. And I'd love to have more people in that group.
Yeah, guys, there it is. Get Amplified right there. Amplified. Boom, boom, boom. Gene.
Yes, sir.
Where do people get a hold of you when you're not looking like this?
They can get a hold of me when I am looking like that too.
Okay, cool.
Just right now, I'm working on my inboxes on the Instagram at the Gene Volpe or Gene J Volpe on Facebook.
Nice. GBI Media right there. And then, of course, Todd, how would people reach out to you to kind of really go deeper?
My website is taxlienalliance.com. You can join my Instagram, Tax Lien Alliance, YouTube. I've got Tax Lien Alliance. There's videos on YouTube. But the best way to get a hold of it is just my personal number, 801-358-1496. Throw that up there along with Todd Ashton at gmail.com. I actually don't look at my email much because I get hundreds of emails that I don't reply to unless I know that they want me to or they need me to, like a student. So just text me or call me. If you get me at 801-358-1496, text me or call me and let's get going. What I'll do is I'll just send you some information that I always send prospects so they can brush up on everything, realize what this is all about, kind of like what happened with Nick and Gene. The light bulbs went off. They're more than halfway there. They're almost at, then we just get going and I plug you in. That's the thing. I don't give you weeks and weeks and weeks of theory. I just plug you in, and in 90 minutes, I have you dialed in and doing it. And I open up my Rolodex. I open up my title company, like that guy asked earlier. I open up everybody and just plug you in. I don't teach you how to go out and fish. I just give you the damn fish and say, eat it and enjoy it.
And be happy with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Dude, in 52 minutes, there's been a crap ton of nuggets. I just got to tell you that we are definitely not worthy, and we're super excited to be here with you, today, and just wanted to say thank you for your time, guys. If you want to get a hold of me, contact me at 925-915-1978, and that is going to be my direct cell phone. It comes right to the phone right below me right now, which is charging. And let's talk about EXP. We are hiring. And we are doing incredible things over there. We are building a trucking company with clever leads and some really incredible stuff. So,
by the way, that trucking company, she's one of my students.
Oh, well, there you go.
I like to see that Matt's still doing car washes for free too. By the way, I saw that number.
Oh, dude, that's like his jam, man. Like he calls me up every Saturday and goes, "Hey, bro, do I have any car washing appointments?" And I say, "No, Matt, not today."
Oh, by the way, Nick, I accepted your friend on Facebook. Thank you.
Yes, we will be talking.
So we're friends now on Facebook.
We're best friends.
I appreciate. I just want to say I appreciate you guys so much. It's unreal that we can have these exchanges. You guys are dialed in. I appreciate everyone you have to follow you. Please get this in front of them and just say, "Hey, I'm open. I'm very accessible. This is real. This is doable. If I can do it, anyone can do it." I'm telling you. I literally, just to give you some background, I had a tumor removed from my spinal column in 2012. It almost killed me. I rehabbed and got through it. I was a feeder for 2 months. I couldn't even feed myself or take care of myself. And I'm literally just living here with my cat, living the dream, but I can't tie my shoes or put in a light bulb, literally. But I can do this. I can talk all day and do this. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. It's fun.
You guys got it. There. That is the word directly from the horse's mouth. That is some great information, Todd. We appreciate you being on the show today, Nick and Gene. I need you guys to do my need to do the colors for the show. But you were going to say something, Gene. What was it?
I was just going to say, I don't know if you realize this, but I'm just been Googling some of our past shows here. The first show we had Todd on was in 2016. Is that possible?
Yeah.
I don't think that's I really don't.
I'm looking at the YouTube video online right now. It says 2016.
Well, I'm glad you're paying attention to this show.
Time flies, dude. Time flies when you're having fun. It's crazy.
Unbelievable.
Crazy. Yeah, I feel like I just met you, Gene. It's only been, like I said, a couple of years, but if it's 16, we're talking 6 years, just flew by.
It's crazy.
But the funny thing is, the game that I'm talking to you that I talked about back then, it's evolved, but it's only gotten better. It's only gotten easier. I have students now, they're like, "Todd, what you teach now is so much easier than what you taught a few years ago." And I said, "Yeah, but it's because we have more access to databases. We have more access to properties. We have more access to, they're like, this is so much easier now. It's so much more accessible." Yeah. So, yeah, it's fun. Come join me.
So the game got easier. Love it, gentlemen. All right, guys, we're going to wrap the show up. Literally going to wrap the show up. Gene and Nick, give me the two colors for the bows on the shows. Gene first, then Nick.
Purple.
I'm going yellow like a light bulb because it just flashed over the top of my head.
Come talk to me, Nick. Let's be buddies. You are literally in the epicenter of it. It's going off down there. You could be in 7 figures this year.
And he's not fucking with you on that. On those.
I'm calling you right now. Hold on a second.
All right, chuckleheads. We're at an hour. We're gonna wrap the fuck up. Gene, Nick, Todd, I am blessed to share the stage with you, gentlemen. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. I'm honored to spend time with such intelligent human beings and have great conversations. Guys, anywhere that you guys watch or listen to your podcast, please go out there and give us a 5-star, not a 2-star review. It helps the algorithm serve us up to more individuals that can be using this knowledge. Please hashtag Todd Ashton. That's ASHTON. Thank God for me being dyslexic. That's how I would want to do it. Tag him, tag Nick, tag Gene, and anything that you guys like, and just share it to all your friends and family. We love you to pieces. Until next time, peace out, ninjas. We're gone.